Hi, this is Rob Southgate, owner of the Southgate Media Group. The Southgate Media Group is proud to present the 50th episode of Wade's World, the Deadpool 2 Movie Club Review. Wait, what? Wade's World? We still put that shit on this network?
Thank you, second fill-in actor from the right on Jingle All the Way. That's right, it's the Wade's World, episode 50. 50 fingers. All right, the Deadpool podcast. We're reviewing Deadpool 2. As always, I am Phil. Lilith, can you believe we're at 50 already?
Mayhem reporting for duty, sir.
We're at 50. We're collecting AARP. And
60 discounts on medicine.
I'm still waiting for that to kick in. I don't know about you guys, but I'm 50.
All right, so that's right. We got a roundtable going, and that voice you just heard was Chris Mao, podcaster, business owner, professional Rob Southgate wrangler.
That's right.
His dealer with the coffee.
I'm his whisperer. I call myself the CEO whisperer. That's my nickname.
You can't handle this. Dianne.
It's a little derivative, don't you think?
And Marnell.
I'm just going to start out, man. I give it 4.759 out of 5 pedophiles in nursing shoes.
You're not on your biters. And Marnell appearing as herself.
As myself. And I'm going to be the dissenter and say I didn't like it as much as the first one.
Wow, me and Chris were just saying we liked it better.
Huh.
And
hey, look, a contrarian. Hello.
You can tell the
contrarians. Sit on this side with me. It's okay.
You can tell the contrarians. They're wearing red. Never mind.
Look at you.
And last but not least, you heard this man all the way back on episode 1 when he did the live review with me and Lilith.
We also did the Dominant 2 review, Phil.
Well, I was going to say the first 4 pages of Dominant 2 on episode 47. Charlie Esser.
Hey!
You're breaking up again. You're breaking up again, Sugar Bear.
Oh, okay, let me try third time's the charm at once.
No, we're gonna have to go back in time and fix your Wi-Fi, Sugar Bear.
Where's Cable when you need him?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a spoiler.
Because we never do spoilers here.
Right? How do you do a spoiler-free review? Like, yeah.
It was good. There was Ryan Reynolds was in it.
Yeah.
In a couple different ways.
Yes.
I just gotta stop for a second. How do those little tiny hands hold that giant glass of wine? How?
Did she say you have Trump hands?
I did.
Advertising baby legs, okay?
Can't unsee that.
That's right. Oh Lord! Look, she has one huge hand.
I have one huge hand.
Thank goodness Moz is in here. She's like, I was waiting for Moz, and she held up like this Hulk fist.
And then we were talking about prison pockets, and it was chaos before this podcast.
Oh,
yes.
I have to say, having worked in a prison, I appreciate the prison humor very much.
Wait, can we just take a moment and say how messed up is the Marvel Universe that a juvenile is put into this clear adult population prison? A clear juvenile. I mean,
with no bathrooms, by the way.
It's the Fox universe. Come on.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as DC.
But they didn't have the budget for a bathroom, so they didn't put it in.
They're mutants. Do they need a bathroom?
Well, you need.
Do they just have like one mutant that's a teleporter and teleports the poop?
Could have been the Vanisher, but they got him all wrong.
Damn, that's dark.
What I'll say is probably they have communal bathrooms. You just don't have it in the cell because you got to be careful with that. You see, as we see, these prisoners are allowed out of their cells, unlike a DC prison where it is a solid prison forever.
Well, we didn't get a glimpse at the Supermax. The Supermax might have been even worse.
I'm telling you, man, moderate security prison, 2 bathrooms per 125 inmates.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so I know that I will only commit white collar crimes so I can go to Camp Cupcake where Martha Stewart went. Okay.
Absolutely.
Financial crimes only for me.
So basically, the ice box was a box.
It seemed like a very poorly run prison. It seems like the guards were very aggressive.
You have to remember this is the X-verse on top of that, where everybody's just openly bigoted. And it's okay.
Well, it was a private for-profit prison. What do you expect?
That's all the only kind of prisons we have left, right?
I was going to say we're headed that way, except in this state.
And the mutants are like this '60s version
dated metaphor for racism.
Oh, I loved that.
Oh wait, before we go any further, Lilith, I know you love the cameo by reporter Irene Merriweather.
I literally did just a little fangirl squeal. I don't think anybody else in the audience caught that one. And I was just like,
I thought you hated her.
Okay, so I didn't. Explain.
Accurate.
Explain.
She was a reporter in the comics.
She has a thing with Cable, but so does Domino. So I don't know if I'm really down for it.
She's basically his biographer / Did they? Was she a booty call at some point? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a booty call somewhere.
And speaking of Cable, was he even a mutant in this movie? I mean, they really didn't go into that.
No.
Well, they're saying that for the X-Force movie.
But it was a 2-hour movie. We couldn't go into his convoluted origin.
No, you're supposed to know.
Well, and they also dropped Hope, so it's just even more convoluted on top of that. Yeah. It's just oh god, we're doing the Dark Phoenix thing, and oh god, if they ever try to explain that on screen, it's gonna be a hot mess. Even more so than a usual X-Men movie.
You need a half hour.
More so.
You need a half hour for Cable's origin, but I did get that he was looking at the where the arm attached. I'm like, the techno-organic virus is spreading.
I was just okay, is Rocket gonna pop up and ask for his arm or not?
Should have. I mean, how many?
Deadpool 3 after the merger goes through.
How many references did we get to Marvel in this movie?
One of my favorites. What did I do to piss off a grumpy guy with a Winter Soldier arm?
Where do you think his eye went? Rocket took it.
Domino is Black Widow.
One-Eyed Willie.
Two Goonies references.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of 80s movies references in this.
Goonies specifically because of Josh Brolin, which he has a love-hate relationship with that whole thing.
I'm sorry, the Say Anything reference was amazing.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And I love that he calls Negasonic Teenage Warhead 11.
That was pretty cute.
We have modern pop cultural references for you millennials out there.
Did you notice, by the way,
honestly, that's what this movie's for.
Oh yes, the gun went up to 11. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. My husband had to have that pointed out to him.
Yes. Oh well, I had a feeling because they didn't show that right away, but I had a feeling it said that gun's going to go up to 11, especially when he's breaking apart the guitar to make it. So that is a Spinal Tap special edition.
I was just waiting for the Stonehenge to come floating down the little one. Tiny one. That would have been even better.
Okay, can I just address the one thing that I'm disappointed in? Because Deadpool's very subversive, and they like to kind of make fun of tropes, but they actually did the fridge the girlfriend trope and not. Well, they kind of made fun of it at the end, but we don't know if that's canon or not.
Yeah, they kind of reversed it.
Shenanigans, yeah. It's an X-Men movie. Time travel shenanigans is always canon.
Until it's not. Until Deadpool comes to clean up the timeline.
That was pretty cool.
I hope
one of my favorite parts of the movie was the end credit scenes.
Yeah.
Mid credits. Yeah.
Yes.
I want someone that give me X-Men Origins Wolverine and splice that ending into there.
Oh, go on YouTube. I guarantee you somebody has it right now.
Green Lantern.
Yes.
You're welcome, Canada.
Oh, and thank you, Canada, too.
I don't blame Canada for Green Lantern.
Ryan Reynolds is Canadian, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah.
It's all his fault. Although, honestly, they should have just let him be freaking the Flash, because that's how come he ended up being the Green Lantern, because the Flash movie got canceled. So I'm just saying, he would have been a better Flash than a Green Lantern.
You've been a fantastic Flash.
He wasn't a bad. Hold on, he wasn't a bad Green Lantern. The movie was horrible, but he was a good character, I thought.
Right.
Yeah, well, he's a good actor. He could. It's like poor Ben Affleck. Everyone says he's so bad at playing superheroes. It's
Why you say that name?
Give him a good superheroes.
Are you kidding me? He's awesome as Batman. I don't know. In my
I
opinion.
like this Daredevil, like I said. Marvel, please take him back.
Actually, I'll be honest. I actually didn't mind either version, either film. I enjoyed Daredevil. I mean, Bullseye's my only real complaint about Daredevil, just because Bullseye Irish.
Well, we'll see how good he is, because they've cast Bullseye for Daredevil season 3 on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Who's playing Daredevil?
Does anyone remember? I didn't recognize the actor.
I think what we're all saying is who'd have known Van Wilder would have been a great Deadpool.
Well, I knew that.
I did. Did you? I've been a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds since Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Parlor. Okay.
Yeah.
Pizza place.
Well, whatever.
Well, she's Canadian. She's Canadian. Leave her alone.
Amityville Horror with him in it, I'm pretty sure.
Something happens when you move north of the border and you lose something. I'm not saying much, but I don't know what's going on.
But you gain universal health care, Lilith.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, not really. I'm still on private. I have to be here for like 3 years, and I'm just not trying to stay here that long. I got other places to be. Probably England next.
Well, there you go. England's nice. They have a queen.
Oh, you're gonna go further?
And a new Duchess.
Yes.
New Duchess, yeah.
The next wedding will be Lilith will be there. It'll be awesome.
Amazing hat.
Hey, that girl from Timeless, Abigail Spencer, was there, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, are they on a mission to stop this marriage or what? But yeah, I actually like Morena, and I was like kind of disappointed that she was only like the first like 6 minutes of the movie.
Gotta save something for the sequel, Lilith. Gotta save something for the sequel.
As a huge Firefly fan, I love seeing her, and I agree with Lilith. It was really heartbreaking to have so small a role for her in this film.
I just want Copycat to kick in, like
yes.
She needs those shape-shifting powers. Yes,
she needs her own movie.
Well, let's get her a Netflix series.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, they got money. They spend money like crazy.
She can meet up with Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
that may or may not be a slash fic that I have working right now.
You have every slash fic known to man. You know who needs her a movie? Domino.
Domino, yeah.
She was pretty great.
She was amazing.
I actually think the Pooliverse has legs. I think you could do
little ones. Little ones.
Yeah.
But they'll grow into them.
With other appendages.
I honestly think you could spin off the Cable film. You could spin off the Domino film. You could even make
the X-Men verse though, just because it has to with the crossing storyline.
Well, the X-Men verse is done. And
no, it's still a chance.
Yeah.
After Dark Phoenix, we'll see. Then we can call it and see if it's dead.
Disney will pound that in the shape.
Yeah. Well, but I think I think Domino getting her own film is very, very doable in this day and age. I think Cable getting his own film, absolutely.
Well,
but Josh is really busy to be like doing his own like
well, that's what I was gonna say.
Likes to do other things.
So. After Infinity Wars 2, what does he have to do?
Brolin was great. It's the summer of Brolin, but I don't know if Cable can carry his own movie. I think he needs like a Deadpool or a Domino in it.
That's why I said it would cross over into the X-verse.
Well, he's the Captain America.
He needs some comic relief
of the Deadpooliverse. He can have his own film. He just has to have someone there with him.
It's just really not his film. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he's so dark, it's like a DC movie.
He can do this all day.
Pump the brakes, Thanos. That's all. That was
My boyfriend didn't get that reference at all.
Oh,
I explained it to him like.
That's what
this is why we didn't go see that movie because you don't know.
That's why you that'll teach you to hire a pretty executive assistant and not a smart one.
So the one
other ways, it's okay.
I was disappointed there was no Jonah Hex reference because
he hates that.
He's scarring looked like Jonah Hex.
Oh yeah, but there was a perfect opportunity like twice, and I'm like, say Jonah Hex, say it, and he didn't.
Right?
I was like, come on, and he didn't make the Yu-Gi-Oh reference, which I thought he should have.
Yeah,
because when he meant Yu-Gi-Oh, he's like, I love that game. Would have been the perfect thing, but he didn't.
But what I will say is, it's okay for Ryan Reynolds to make fun of Green Lantern. I don't think it's okay for Ryan Reynolds to make fun of Jonah Hex to Josh Brolin's face because that'd be me. It would be
Look what he did to Wolverine. Like that was just the Wolverine bashing movie.
Well, yeah,
but does that become a collectible in a Geek Loot box? I don't know what we're even doing anymore. Yeah. I need that.
Oh, and I need it. Music. The song was just perfect in the music box with that. It was just so great.
Did you realize the music that Deadpool was dying to was the same music that Wolverine died to in Logan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta do better.
Yes. Well,
his love-hate relationship is the best.
It is. Those two need to do a buddy cop movie. I mean, Wolverine and Deadpool. Like.
Oh, I thought they were gonna do a remake of Dumb and Dumber, which would be perfect for those two.
Oh wow.
No, see, I don't think Ryan Reynolds can play dumb. Ryan Reynolds plays.
He's not Chris Hemsworth, for goodness sakes.
Well, yeah. Hey, Chris.
He leans into that. Don't look at me like that.
I know he's great at it. He is the male Marilyn Monroe. He is your classic '50s blonde bombshell, and he knows how people see him, and he's happy to play with it, and he will give you depth every so often. Oh, yeah. But as soon as he gets the chance, he's going to be right back to his more mead, which is diamonds are a girl's best friend. Really. He is very much the male Marilyn Monroe.
Okay, I'm with you.
Is that without JFK or with JFK? I'm just asking.
I'm with you on this. So if we can remake an Overboard movie where they flop the gender roles, we can remake How to Marry a Millionaire and Ryan Reynolds is Marilyn Monroe. I'm into it.
Chris Hemsworth is Marilyn Monroe.
Chris Hemsworth. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, no, but Ryan Reynolds would be great as the brunette in that, and I forget her name.
Yes.
What was that brunette's name? Because she actually is a noted actress as well, but she was the brunette.
There is no such thing as a noted actress when you're on screen with Marilyn Monroe, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's like being on screen with Chris Hemsworth. Unless you're another Chris.
That's right. One of the 5 Chris's?
Yeah, one of the 5 Chris's.
There can be only 5.
Hey, wait, there's 6 with me. I know what you guys are talking about.
That's why Ryan is a Ryan.
You're the Soul Stone, Chris.
Thank you.
There we go.
Soulless stone is basically what it is. Ask Rob.
Amen. Who needs a soul or feelings?
Help!
Just flicker on the internet. That's all I do.
Phil is like, where did this podcast go?
All right, I have a question that actually pertains to the movie.
Okay, yes.
Did I miss the Stan Lee cameo?
No, he wasn't in it.
Okay.
There was a poster of
He
him.
does show up.
That's it.
He shows up.
No.
Kind of, sort of.
I actually read this online. Statue that gets knocked down
is a bust of Stan Lee. Yeah,
is a bust of Stan Lee. That's what they said.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when Domino shows up, he's in the billboard.
He is?
In one of the scenes that he's going down, he's in the billboard behind her.
I heard that he was also I heard that he was also in the Cable montage when Cable was going back in time. But one of the reasons why they didn't put him in the movie is because of the teaser trailer that Deadpool did with him, where he was the guy that was shot and Deadpool was in the phone booth trying to change into his uniform. So he was technically already in this movie, but so that's why we didn't get a cameo.
Plus the guy's 100.
He's old. Leave him
I was gonna
alone.
say he's 110.
Right.
You're gonna kill him that
So
much.
now they have to do creative ways to get him in.
They'll have to show up at his house and do it.
This is what the man does. This is what the man actually lives for. I mean, literally lives for.
Yes.
This is his Elder of the Universe. My one obsession that keeps me alive, that is my one defense against death, is I must shill.
Raison d'etre.
Yeah, he is. As the Elder of the Universe, he is the shill, and his thing is he will for all time battle death by saying, "I have one more Marvel movie to do."
Excelsior.
That's why they keep helping him out secretly. That's why Disney messed up.
And that's why at the end of Avengers 4, he's going to get one of the Soul Stones because they're going to give him to the Elders, and it'll be Jeff Goldblum.
That's awesome. That's a great thing.
You know.
Well, and so I kind of hope that they are filming some little cameos that they can cut into future movies because 92, 93?
They actually,
95.
95.
That is their actual business model at the moment. They actually have a lot of publicity shots of Stan Lee. Yeah. So because in all the Netflix, he doesn't actually show up in Netflix, but he's always in an ad, a well-placed ad. Then he was an author.
For the, what is it, the lawyer's office or whatever?
He's in a lot, and he's like the face of NYPD in anything that in the first. Daredevil, he was the face of he was on a portrait in the background in the first Daredevil, and then later in Luke Cage, he's like if you see something, say something, NYPD cop. So he's the
man. Oh, the man is eternal. Isn't there a theory out there that he is a watcher of some sort?
Yes. Well,
he was talking to the Watchers in was that Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Yes. He's not no. He is perhaps the stranger, but because they do have the same mustache. But more likely, he's just I think he's an elder of the universe. He is not particularly. I mean, although elders are cosmically powered. Okay, you can put on your shirt. You want to tell people what you thought about Deadpool?
Yes, he didn't send me a voicemail.
Yeah, he was. I was like pushing him, and he was like, I don't feel it. I got to think of what I want to say. So, okay, so here's Toxin Gamer 13. I'm gonna put him on.
What's up, Tristan?
Hey, get dressed first, but that's okay. Wait.
Mission Impossible.
So Mission Impossible universe too? Oh my gosh.
Well, if you lived with Charlie, you'd be singing Mission Impossible.
I was confused about the part at the end where Deadpool shot Deadpool from Wolverine Origins.
Don't cover the mic. Yes.
Because I was wondering if that would have killed him since that was the first Deadpool.
Exactly. He was worried that there was a timeline, basically a timeline paradox that by killing himself in the past, he would fade away in the present. But of course, as I said, that he's crossing universes. So it was a non-canonical Deadpool that he killed.
What happened to you, Esser? You haven't taught your kids about time anomalies yet?
Multiverses?
Yeah, don't you do a Doctor Who podcast?
Yeah, aren't you professor?
This is what you call a teachable moment. And this was this moment where we went over these things. And he was very quick to point out, it says, wait a minute, that Deadpool had Wolverine's healing factor. Why is a shot to the head going to kill him? And he said maybe he just knocked him out. You know, he was doing his third level fan theories.
All right. Just for child services, how old is Tristan, Charlie?
He's 22. He's very short, but he's 22.
He's smoking a lot of cigarettes.
He's just regenerating his legs.
So teachable moments. Did you have to teach him about the prison wallet also?
So he understood the concept.
I have a legitimate comic book movie question.
Yes.
Okay, so if you cut apart Deadpool, is he like a worm where every segment can grow back, or just from the head down? Like, can there be more than one Deadpool now? Like, because he had like arms and legs and stuff that blew off, or is it just the head?
Well, okay, so here's the actual way that it works. You can sew him back together, and his parts will re-heal. Or if it's just the head, he theoretically could grow himself back in total. Although perhaps if you're infected with the zombie virus, that doesn't work because Headpool's still just Headpool. But Headpool was previously infected with the zombie virus from the Cancerverse, so that may be why he didn't grow a whole new Deadpool.
There was a storyline where a bunch of Deadpool's severed limbs were like put together and made like an evil monster Deadpool.
And you could do that. Yeah, I forget what that Deadpool was called. That was with the doctor who was obsessed with him.
That's amazing. Because also when Juggernaut ripped him in half, I'm like, okay, is there some Deadpool out there with normal legs and like baby?
Well, can I make a point about the baby legs and what I thought was like the most interesting thing to me?
Please do.
That the baby legs weren't modeled. They weren't like
no.
They didn't have
an actual
like scars.
kid.
No, not that it was an actual kid. I mean that
they weren't burn scars.
Ryan Reynolds has chicken legs.
No. But the fact of the matter is that, and maybe realize, when he's regenerating, he actually has this one moment where his skin is all nice and clean.
Oh.
And it's like, wouldn't that be so? That like 3 seconds when it's like, my hand, I actually look normal, and then crumbles up. That's sad.
Dolphin smooth, Dianne.
Yes. I hear dolphins are actually very rough skinned.
I don't know. We'd have to ask Abe. Abe and Rosita.
Abe, yeah. It's a reference from Walking Dead.
One thing I know about dolphin skin is that it apparently makes a very good leather because it is the required leather for something to keep the Holy of Holies in the in I believe it was Leviticus or possibly Deuteronomy, where they're describing the manufacture and use of the tabernacle.
That is just wrong. That is horrible.
Help!
What always amazed me is that there are desert-dwelling people, and yet somehow they're getting dolphin leather for this.
Pick up the reins, Phil.
See, that's actually my actual case.
catchphrase. Stop fighting.
Not an unclean fish. It doesn't have scales.
How?
It's not a fish. It's not a fish.
Well, I know it's not a fish, but
There we go.
They didn't classify fish in that way. Fish meant things that lived in the water. I mean, shellfish aren't fish, but they're also not kosher because they don't have fins and scales.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So technically, you can't eat dolphin, but utilizing dolphin leather for this, I think it's like what you put the Torah in is supposed to be a dolphin leather case. If I recall correctly, then look it up. Look up dolphin leather and the Torah.
I hate dolphins, and I really would love a dolphin leather case for my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Phil, do the more you know.
Oh.
Dolphins are creepy, okay?
Okay, well, you know what? We only know that about prison dolphins. We don't know if free dolphins. Maybe
free dolphins are even worse.
All right. For you comic book people out there, Lil and Charlie, what did you think about the portrayal of Black Tom Cassidy?
Oh, he was fun.
They kill him. Like,
cultural appropriation. I know. He's
totally coming back for the X-Force movie, right?
Why didn't he team up with Juggernaut? Those two were always like a big team.
Well, actually, that was one thing that I really thought that was going to come up was the Juggernaut explaining that Black Tom was his friend, because that is literally Juggernaut's only friend.
I guess he didn't want anybody to know he was friends with some guy who cultural appropriates things.
Okay, so but Deadpool went back and changed the timeline to where his girlfriend didn't die. The timeline is all wibbly wobbly.
So if she doesn't die, this movie doesn't happen though.
Well, no, Black Tom could have survived, but you'd have to ask, well, why would? Well, so here's how Black Tom actually survives: is that it does create a butterfly effect that causes things to be slightly off, which is why we see Peter before Zeitgeist falls in. So the timeline has already been altered slightly. So Peter can hold to go home so that he doesn't feel like he has to save Zeitgeist. And okay, not for nothing, how bad is OSHA in this Marvel? It's bad in all Marvel universes, but where wood chippers do not have a fail
shut off.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this is why people don't actually fall into wood chippers. There actually is safety devices that are supposed to be there.
But who flies from the sky and falls into a wood chipper, Charlie?
People who don't listen to there's a wind advisory.
A high wind advisory.
A high wind advisory. Because Cable knew. Cable didn't go by parachute.
Well,
Weasel knew, so Deadpool knew. Deadpool just didn't care.
Well, who's falling?
He's reckless.
Domino's
Canadian, that's what happens.
Well,
she's incredibly lucky.
Her good luck powers,
but her brother is in a double wheelchair now.
Is luck a superpower?
It must be. She only wanted to.
It is cinematic. I will argue that it's cinematic.
And
luck is totally a superpower if you're Domino.
And she's
that whole scene was
like
great.
one of 7 characters in the Marvel Universe with luck as a superpower.
Lady Luck.
Yes. You know, luck is very much a superpower, and it actually is one of the most cinematic superpowers because everything becomes a Rube Goldberg machine.
It's an excuse. It's not a superpower.
So I have another comic book geek question about Domino and her superpower. Does she change the luck of the people around her? Does she deflect bad luck? Because there were
events, like she's able to manipulate events.
No. Right? But I mean, because she absorbs all of the good luck, basically. Does everyone around her, do they have bad luck because of that? Because there was a lot of people dying in those car wrecks while she was just walking through.
So the short answer is yes. The longer, recently revealed answer is there's actually one guy who gets all of her bad luck.
That's awful.
Yeah, he's real mad at her.
It's Stan Lee. It's really bad.
I want to movie about that guy. Because it's like Unbreakable and the movie Unbreakable, Samuel Jackson and what's his name?
Mr. Glass.
Yeah. So that's so that's interesting.
This is an ancient geek question. So I collected X-Men way back in the day, but it's been like 30 years since I've read them. Wasn't she an X-Man?
Domino?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was X-Force.
Right? X-Force, yeah.
Yeah, because she showed up in what was it, like the early 90s?
That's what I'm thinking. Okay.
Can I just make one thing? How cool was the way they actually got the X-Force Deadpool costume in it?
Yeah.
Where he's all gray.
When Russell fried him, to turn. There were so many Easter eggs in that movie.
As a non-comic book fan, as somebody who's just watched the movies, going back and looking at Domino in the books, I really, really like the chick that played her in this movie.
You can see her on Atlanta on FX.
Yes, she's amazing. I love her, and I love that how they put her in this movie. Like everything about her, just she also needs her own Netflix series.
She is literally the Black Widow. I mean, she is this character that maybe no one thought was going to be the breakout star. She is totally the breakout star.
Definitely.
So is she going to get her standalone movie before the real Black Widow?
No, probably.
Ooh, that would be brutal.
I'm just gonna say Scarlett Johansson is on a list of deplorables at this point right now for Hollywood. So, give it a couple years, let that brush over. She's doing questionable things.
But I don't even want a Domino movie. I want a Jessica Jones Netflix series. I think I would love to see Domino, because a movie you get 2 hours, like a Netflix series you get like 8, 12, something like that. I would love to see this iteration of Domino in a Netflix series.
So there's actually an X-Files episode, and this is how you can figure out what that would cost, because there's an X-Files episode about a guy who did have luck as his superpower.
I remember that.
But of course, every time he has good luck, then bad luck happens to everyone. Exactly what we're saying causes all this bad luck to happen to everyone, and he's obsessed with Rube Goldberg machines. And they make this idea that he is still within this giant Rube Goldberg machine, even though he got hit by a bus after he wins the lottery.
There was also a D.B. Sweeney show about luck. He was a lucky guy. Yeah.
But the idea is that you have to see what the budget of that episode was and extrapolate it out to 13 episodes to see if it's a viable concept for a luck-powered based character. Because what we saw in this movie with her luck powers, because first off, yes, all those car crashes are expensive, but all those guys, falling on their own swords, all those trained stuntmen, they are expensive too. When Deadpool makes the reference at the start of the film about that guy's actually on fire, I was waiting for him to say, and that actually costs a lot more than to CGI fire him, because to do a full body burn is the most expensive stunt.
But you wouldn't have to do to this level. You could do to like Jessica Jones season 1 budget and still have Zazie Beetz and come out with a hit.
All right, you could do a Netflix series. Just have Brian Michael Bendis write it. You only have 5 minutes of action and 13 episodes.
No more Bendis. As time has passed, I've soured much more. I used to be like, oh, he's not that bad. He's just writing. But the whole Tony Stark's father thing just ruined Bendis for me.
Well, like we've been saying, DC bought him now. It's like buying the 50-year-old quarterback.
Yeah, he's their problem now. Although I hate to see
Brett Favre. Is that what we're saying? Is that
Marvel has luck powers, and that all the good luck that comes to Marvel, they're sending their bad luck to DC because they're making these bad choices that are.
I love that theory.
It's Zack Snyder making the bad choices. It's not anybody else.
It's everybody at the highest levels making really curious
but they're all in with him. I know you know. I
was going to say, there's
Zack Snyder has blackmail on somebody. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is, but that's what's going on.
He's got picks. Zack Snyder does fight scenes unbelievably, and not to get off track, but he's like George Lucas. He can't do dialogue worth crap.
That's all right. Aquaman comes in December, and all these housewives.
December 21st.
Be still my beating heart.
But it's
It'll be good.
No, I told you, I'm just gonna put these 3 ladies on. I'm just gonna put these 3 ladies on the review. They'll be like, "Oh, did you see it? Did you hear what he said?" No,
but as long as they drink mimosas, that would be perfect.
Nothing. That is actually
all right.
That is the thing that makes me worried most about Aquaman, because it is the Zack Snyder problem. Where Zack Snyder, as we can say, makes great, beautiful pictures. And if film was going to an art gallery and looking at stills, he would be phenomenal. But in connecting those stills together,
I told you
that's where you have the problem.
That's the problem with them.
Here's the thing, though. I can watch Jason Momoa speak an entirely different non-language Dothraki and still love it. So Aquaman will be fine.
Okay, well, no, only if they have him speak
Dothraki.
Yeah. But my point is, saying it will be fine because there's a good visual for it is worrisome from. Trust me, people said that about Black Widow for years, Oh, trust me, everyone's going to show up for a Scarlett Johansson film where she kicks people. And sure enough,
Lucy did good.
Yeah, she did Lucy. Trust me, Lucy, not the best written film. It made a lot of money because it didn't cost very much to produce. But it made a lot of money and was topped at the box office, especially because of that idea that, oh, yeah, a lot of people are going to show up to see Scarlett Johansson be in a low-cut top and kick people.
We're not going for the dialogue.
Well, exactly. I'm dialogue, and I was like, oh, this story is not very good.
Trust.
First off, 10% of your brain, humans use 100% of their brain. Stop perpetuating the myth.
Trust the man who took his 8-year-old to see Deadpool. Trust his judgment.
You know what? Let me tell you something.
If I had a kid and he was 8, I would take him to see Deadpool.
Oh,
Me
too.
I was constantly at home,
Honestly,
so.
I should have skipped the previews. Some of those previews were not appropriate. Although he really wants to see Murder on Happy Street now, or whatever it's called, or the Happy Street Murders, or the Happy Time Murders. Yeah,
The Purge.
No, the one with the puppets. He thought that was hilarious.
I don't
It's
know if I
Melissa
saw that.
McCarthy and puppets. Did you
Yeah.
see? It's fantastic.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy.
Oh yeah. No, it
Inappropriate.
looks honestly. Well, here's what I'm gonna say: the silly string scene goes on way too long, and I don't like. I mean, I do not like Mr. Creosote's scene. First off, because Monty Python already did it with Mr. Creosote.
Right.
Second off, when you do that, it's like it's like, okay, yeah, we got the joke the first time. First off, the joke is it's silly string, and that's funny. But the more you do it, it has a
it's a negative
not a rule
effect.
of 3. Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
has a negative effect. It has a negative effect, and that.
That's why it's so awesome.
No.
I mean, to me, the absurdity of that whole thing was the fantastic part. Not that happened, because you knew that was coming. It wasn't like that was a shock. So
We didn't get the same trailers on our movie.
Oh, okay.
But I know which movie you're talking about, so I haven't seen that trailer. But I have to add that when Deadpool was dying and he kept waking up,
which time? The 70th
right?
time?
Yeah. Okay, it went on way too about 2 times too long. I was gonna exaggerate and say 70, but it went on 2 less times, and it would have been funny. But it was okay, it's not funny anymore. Or you could have done it 10 more times and be okay, it's funny again. But no, they went into the non-happy medium of okay, I'm not even kidding. 3 rows away from me, snoring. Not even kidding. Somebody was snoring.
Good point, Marnell. Here, have my Adventure Time watch.
Did you pull that out of your prison pocket for me?
Prison wallet.
Your prison wallet, yeah.
That would be a keister packet.
It's a fanny pack. Just admit it. It's a fanny pack.
Oh yeah.
To be
I
fair,
love you, Lilith.
Cable is a character designed from the 90s, so fanny packs.
Oh yeah, pouches everywhere.
I agree with whoever said nobody wore a fanny pack ever in
I
1999.
never wore one of these goddamn things.
No.
Excuse me. They were awful. Unless you had drugs.
We're
and then
not
that's what you
Europeans.
cared about.
Only Europeans wear fanny packs, and they call it something else because fanny means something else over there.
Okay, I think I wore a fanny pack in 1991 to a water park, but I was 11.
Were you on a school field trip?
I was 11. Yeah.
And you didn't know any better. We'll excuse that.
No, yeah. And I'm sure it was neon pink.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you have sunscreen in there? Because melanoma's a killer.
It is.
So we're there for that quote.
Okay, do you
There's more
see
people than
this?
cable.
It's practical and fashionable. No. it's
Yeah.
The thing that she fails to mention is that we are always a decade behind up here as well. So
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, this is How I Met Your Mother's version of Canada. Is that what's going on?
Exactly. We were still wearing corduroy in the 90s.
hey now.
It's back. Just gotta wait.
No, corduroy is never back unless you're a professor with patches on it.
I'm sorry. Has corduroy ever not? I'm sorry. I don't know corduroy.
It died in the 70s.
Charlie's got to burn his entire wardrobe now. He's pissed.
Well, I don't own it. Please, I can afford corduroy. A fine, high quality fabric like corduroy. Oh,
It's
corduroy.
cheaper than
Dolphins.
Trying to kill me, man.
Corduroy's awesome, man.
Hey,
Corduroy.
They wasted Star Shatter, by the way.
Shatterstar. Yeah.
Shatterstar. They did.
The best is that they killed him. That was the best part about that whole scene is that, we're going to get this X-Force together. Oh, no, we're not. They're dead. 2 minutes in.
But
Well,
he took Firefist's name, and I was all confused. I'm like, wait a minute, Rusty is Firefist's name.
Yes.
Why are we using this for
Because they were making fun
first
of the fact
name
that
ever, and it's actually a real hero?
yeah.
ugh.
Well, the problem with Shatterstar is that, aside from just being a long shot knockoff, and they already had one character with luck powers, great shout out to the Mojo verse.
I know. I can't believe he said Mojo World. Holy crap.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and he's from the Mojo world, and that's great. And
Where we're better at everything than you are.
Exactly. So, except
You knew he was
Speaking of
doing it
Perich,
bad after he did that, though.
We're huge.
Yeah, well, and basically that's when you knew all the extras. I'm sad that Terry Crews might have lived because we saw that they were giving him CPR. So Terry Crews may still be
crazy. I was just like, yes. Wait, what?
Right after. He's like,
so I will expect Terry Crews to be back in the next season, in the third one.
He was like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine's gone. No, I can't take it. Then he's like, oh wait, coming back. Okay.
Yeah, that got CPR. I guess that's good.
Well, they're going to get it to 100 and put it in syndication, so he could very well be back for the movie.
Although most of those X-Force people went out, I'd rather go out that way than how they beat Juggernaut. Holy crap!
No,
well, he wasn't dead. Did you see?
I know he's not dead. He probably wishes he was.
Freaking Juggernaut! And can I just say how happy I am that they restored to Juggernaut's proper origin
of being Charles' stepbrother.
Exactly. So you wear that helmet so your brother can't read your mind. He says, yeah, but he's in a wheelchair, so it's even. Who was playing the Juggernaut?
Oh, you don't know?
It wasn't Vinnie Jones.
No, they CGI'd it, but you know who did the voice? I read this somewhere because they didn't even have it in the credit. Ryan Reynolds.
No way.
It was the Ryan Reynolds and the director, isn't it? Both of them. One of them's the face.
Maybe I don't know. I saw Ryan Reynolds' name somewhere, but yeah, even in the credits, it said Juggernaut as himself.
Matt Damon?
No, because Matt Damon's in when the X-Force first dies. I think he's in a scene too.
He is. He does have a credit in the movie.
I thought he was the redneck.
I thought he was playing fake Loki.
No, that was a different film. Matt Damon.
He died in the beginning too, so that's
Matt Damon was redneck number 2.
Yeah, and
in the
Alan from Firefly was the other redneck.
Yeah, the other guy from the Alan Tudyk from Firefly was
the other
redneck.
Don't you mention Powerless, Charlie Esser?
Yeah, he's the other Wayne.
He died in a plane crash.
I loved Powerless, by the way.
Thank you.
You can show yourself the door too.
Oh no, you're wrong.
Hi, yo.
Hey, speaking of shows that nobody likes, did anyone catch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reference in this?
No.
Yes. If on the dashboard of the prison van is Daisy's hula girl. Yeah, and I saw that and I was like, oh, this is a S.H.I.E.L.D. truck because S.H.I.E.L.D. is.
They did have the helicarrier in the first one too, though.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, they had exactly. It's a reference that they can get away with because because they tried to do the helicarrier and they couldn't really do the helicarrier, but they did the helicarrier anyway. And when I saw that, I mean, maybe it's just a hula girl. I was like, no, I really think that's supposed to be, especially since last episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just came out, and it does make its return appearance at the end of the episode. So
la 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 la. I'm not caught up.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Right? So yeah. So
whoever said it was right, Ryan Reynolds secretly played another character in the film, and he did voice Juggernaut.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So there we go. So
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Google.
See,
I love the credits at the beginning too, though.
Oh, that was great. Photography by Blind Al. It was great.
Did Maz tell us all to pay attention to that? Who said on our?
It was Maz.
Oh, thank you so much, Maz, for telling us to pay attention to that. Those were hilarious.
From the guy who killed the dog in John Wick.
Cinematography,
great action movie.
Did they really do that? I don't understand.
Cinematography by Blind Al.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
Speaking of that, the cure for cancer and 16 kilos of cocaine.
It was buried in the house. It was buried in the house. Paid off from the movie. Yeah, it was buried in the house.
Yeah.
Oh, did everybody catch
he does have the cure for cancer. But you have to be a Deadpool.
Yeah.
It's like that's the trade-off.
Did everybody catch this?
Cancer would say, okay, that's fine.
I know he said One-Eyed Willie, but did everybody catch the second Goonies Easter egg in the movie?
I didn't. I know somebody mentioned it earlier, but I didn't catch it.
What was it?
When he was regrowing his legs, he was wearing the same shirt that Chunk wears in the movie.
Yes.
Oh, he should have done the truffle shuffle when he got up.
Oh, and he had a Taylor Swift t-shirt on when he was in the X Mansion. The 2 cat shirts, that's a Taylor Swift reference. Because him and Blake Lively are actually friends with Taylor Swift in real life. True sad story.
and that is why the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants is total pornography. I loved that.
I'm going to have to recheck out that film. That was not what I
The book is better.
No, No,
He's
but
like, what are you saying?
The film's toned down a little bit, Charlie. It's all right.
You saw him talking to the taxi driver, and they were discussing that, and then Domino's like, I should have stayed in college.
Joe Pinder, or as he called him, Brown Panther.
Yeah.
That was great.
But when he's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay in the car. Good choice, buddy. Good choice.
Was that not satisfying at the end with him, though?
Because he's got to take over for TJ Miller. Because, you know, he had his incident and he's not allowed to be in movies or TV shows anymore.
You're not allowed
and he's got a fake bomb threat on top of that. So it's just like, yeah, you're a complete total douchebag. I used to like you, TJ Miller.
Well, you know, not for nothing. His character was his character was always a douchebag.
Yes,
it's like finding out.
Just saying when the real life actor actually is
art imitating life.
It's art. It is exactly. I was going to say that.
Okay,
he wasn't a nice guy. He's not actually a nice guy in real life, is it?
In his defense, who hasn't wanted to call in a fake bomb threat? I mean, none of us have done it, but who hasn't wanted to?
Not on a plane or a train. You don't.
No. I'm like, I really don't want to go into this meeting at work. Maybe I'll call in a fake bomb threat.
You know why I don't do that? I'm going to tell you something.
As a teenager, Charlie has recorded many a bomb threat.
No. When I was a kid, I used to love 21 Jump Street. The original 21, not the...
That was when Johnny Depp was American.
And there was an episode about a school bomber. And everyone thought it was and then, of course, he was a bomber. This was when bombing was cute because you'd tell everyone and everyone would get out and they'd blow up the bomb and then class was canceled for the day. But this was a kid who was actually, and everyone said, oh, it's that kid because he's the creepy one. Turns out the kid was homeless. He's living in the school. Says, when they blow up the bombs, that really screws up my day. I'm not the guy that does this. And it made me realize that even if you're calling ahead, even if you're doing a fake bomb threat, that has real world implications for people downstream that you're hurting just to make your life more convenient. So that's why I would never ever do that because I actually care about other people. Unlike Domino,
what about if it's wrong?
What's wrong? Bendis doesn't care about anybody but himself.
But no, I mean, I get what you're saying, and yeah, in that it's like it's like Alfred Hitchcock says, we're all murderers every day 100 times, but it is when we cross the line from fantasy to reality that it becomes a problem.
Okay, so apparently.
I just wanted to make a 21 Jump Street reference because it seemed appropriate.
According to comicbook.com 2 days ago, Deadpool acknowledges TJ Miller's recent scandal in a subtle way.
Yeah, the headline underneath.
Yes. So apparently on a newscast, there was a ticker that says, Christopher Plummer refuses role in Deadpool 2. And Christopher Plummer is the guy that replaced Kevin Spacey in All the Money in the World when the Kevin Spacey controversy happened. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, the connotation is he was going to replace TJ Miller in Deadpool. And so, yeah, they subtly acknowledge TJ Miller controversy. That's fine.
And I'm sure from their perspective, they've already shot it, and the character.
They don't have that kind of money. They don't have all the money in the world. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. Just understand, we are like the third. We're the profitable Fox franchise, but they still treat us like the third cousin.
And I'm pretty sure TJ Miller can probably lay low for a little while and make a comeback, whereas Kevin Spacey's kind of done.
Well, Kevin Spacey, yeah, he touched it in a bad way.
TJ Miller made a bad phone call.
Well, he did some other things too besides that bad phone call, but
but as far as I know, it's like the level of scandal right now is one that he could theoretically come back from. You can come back from certain scandals, but once you put the Rohypnol in the pudding pop, it's the scandal has gone too far.
Because you're on home arrest in your lovely house. Are you kidding me? And you get to smoke weed? Have you not heard about that with Bill Cosby?
No.
Well, because he has glaucoma, of course.
You know what? But what I'll tell you is that for an entertainer, there is no greater pain than to not be able to perform. To actually lose your fan base is the thing that kills you as a because sure, you can be this is why performers who don't need to work still work.
Yes.
Because they love doing what they do. And even if you've got your money in the bank, you still want to go. And that's why actors who have money in the bank start doing a bunch of cameos because it's just so much fun to do this. This is like their thing to do, and it's so much fun to do that and go out and be a part of other things and other people's projects.
Well, they don't want to do the
Bill Cosby is definitely just his loss of legacy, the stain on his reputation.
Exactly, and not for nothing, the guy's life has ever since his son died. I mean, it's kind of spiraled out. And it wouldn't surprise me if all this stuff does have some ties to his son dying. If you want to get into the psychology of stuff, that maybe after his son was murdered, he kind of went off the rails a bit. I think that may be part of the case, but it may go back farther than that. In which case, then
And we'll be right back. We'll be right back to headline news right after that. Right.
All right.
So X-Force is just like, I was just really shocked that they did it that way. I was just like, oh, not Terry Crews. I was glad that he did save Sugar Bear in the end though, because I was like, oh, he's like, nah, I just thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, but what I'll tell you is that, like I said, Terry Crews could come back because they showed them giving him CPR, and as we've learned that in a movie, if you get CPR, that is magic. That's a magic.
Unless you're in the Arrowverse where you get shot in a non-vital area and you bleed out and die because the doctors are crap.
Nobody's gone until they're gone, right, Marnell?
Nobody's gone until they're gone.
Although I will say that was like one of the biggest annoyances to me about that death scene with Deadpool. I mean, yes, it goes on too long, but it specifically goes on in a way that, like, okay, you just got shot in the chest. And
why? And when somebody just cracked that collar off, and he's fine.
Well, they said it would take a grenade to take it off in the beginning.
Yeah,
okay.
Meanwhile, the kid pulled a pen out of it
without a grenade.
Because it was Seven, and Domino's lucky.
I do have to say, so I thought that was the whole reference to your heart is not in the right place. I thought because he was shot, and after that, when he was shot in the heart, I was like, oh my God, maybe he was one of those people where his heart is actually on the other side of his chest.
No, his heart was finally in the right place, and it allowed him to go and be with Vanessa.
Right. But that I was thinking, oh my God, that's what that means. That's what your heart is not in the right place means. And so that's why he didn't die. But no, I was totally wrong on that one.
In the Buffy episode, though, it's like you've done your job, you're dead, you're in the happy place, and these a-holes pull you back into this mess.
Oh, I love you for referencing that, Lilith. Like, I love that episode where she was like, everything here is hot and bright and hard. And, I was in such a nice place and my friends pulled me back.
Oh, but
it's really sad.
you comic book readers, did you get that they replaced the actual Death herself with Vanessa?
Oh, yeah. In
fact, that was interesting.
Tristan referenced that. He says, this is just like that curse that Thanos placed on Deadpool.
Yeah.
In fact, the process of going through the water and swimming through and coming to the other side and being pulled back. It's all a direct comic.
Because Thanos was in this. Thanos wasn't even in this movie, so.
Yes,
technically.
Well,
which is the best kind of way to be right.
The summer of Brolin.
Yeah.
Yes, the Carlo 2's coming out. So yeah, it actually is the summer of Brolin right now.
It's the Brolineissance.
You know what? Tweet that to him. He will probably make a t-shirt out of it.
But yeah, it is the Brolineissance, and yeah, not for nothing, it's a great time to be Josh Brolin because people are really acknowledging that he's actually a decent actor.
I mean, hey, the two #1 movies, 2 in a row, he's been in them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe the news about Deadpool. I was like, what? At the box office? I mean, I know it was gonna be big, but not that big.
Well, you know what?
Come on, they're on a roll.
I was surprised it was not crowded where we were, and it was a Saturday.
Yeah, it wasn't crowded.
Yeah, ours either.
We went at 10 a.m. and it was kind of like there was like a good bit of people.
I went on Friday though.
It's like 70+ degrees in Juneau, and it was a nice day, so nobody's gonna go sit in a dark theater. So
what I find most, like I said, this is all about timing for Marvel, and the fact that they go like Black Panther, Avengers. I mean, yeah, technically Pacific Rim was like #1 for a little bit there, but really it's been like almost constant #1s.
Are you serious? I don't think you're right about that.
Trust me. Lilith is dating someone who was all in the Pacific Rim.
No, Pacific Rim was #1 when it came out, wasn't it?
The first one?
I do not think so.
No,
I thought it did pretty. Yeah, the second one did really bad. I thought domestically anyway.
I thought it was #1, and that was the one that took Black Panther out of #1 after it had been at
was it
#1
or was it Ready Player One?
Oh, was it Ready Player One? Maybe it was Ready Player One.
But yeah, because I know for a fact Pacific Rim 2 didn't do well domestically.
I could be wrong.
That came out already?
It's already in video. It's on cable.
It's on VHS already.
Anyway,
Betamax for Rob Southgate.
Hey, we have Betamax in my house too. My dad was bad at picking technological winners. Okay.
Do you have Laserdisc?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rob has Laserdisc. He has a big collection.
That is Rob Southgate.
have him guest on your podcast and talk about his bad technological choices.
Let's take a camera crew to that garage of his.
But basically, February until whenever Captain Marvel comes out, I get the feeling Marvel is going to have the #1 film.
Not next week. You think
Yeah,
Solo's going to kick its
decimate.
butt.
Yeah, Solo's on.
Yeah. Okay,
Especially with the announcement that Lando is
Disney
getting.
property might take over. So
It's
okay.
still different,
So, yeah,
technically.
not Marvel, but
It's
Disney.
a different universe.
Yeah.
Same parent,
Think
different
about that.
universe.
Well, yeah, except remember, Disney actually gets money for this film. Because Marvel gets money for this film, and that goes to Disney. Yes. So trust me, when everyone says, "Oh, it'd be great if Disney had all the Marvel characters back," it's like, yes, from the fact that that Disney will do better with them than the people that currently have them, generally speaking. But from profitability standpoint, right now Fox takes all the risk on these films, and Sony takes all the risks on these films, and Disney gets a cut. When Disney has to produce the film itself, it's going to be actually kind of a reverse, especially if they're licensed. With Sony gets a reverse of that scenario, which is Disney gets Spider-Man, and then Sony gets a cut the way that Marvel would get a cut when Sony produced it. And I think Sony's getting a bigger cut than Marvel got, but it's more important to Disney to have creative control over their most iconic property.
Yeah.
So they, because as I've said, comic books for Disney is a lost leader. They really don't.
Wait, they own the comic book side too? They own everything?
They own everything. Disney owns. Wow. Yeah, Disney owns the comics. They own more of the comics than they do of the movie. They own all the TV rights. Yeah, they own everything for Marvel.
Yeah. Then comic books are definitely a loss leader for them. They're
never lost because it doesn't have to make money for them. That's sort of test ground. Here's some character ideas. Here's some things, and writers get to slave away for pennies and create beautiful ideas. And then someone in Hollywood says, great, I'm going to take 4 of these pages and 4 of those pages and this one panel, and that's going to be our next $1 million film.
Okay, and that's why I heard that Wonder Woman did so well is because the company did not have complete control over the script. It was really the writers that had full control over the script, and which is why Wonder Woman was such a great movie and did so well, is they stopped caring what the money people said about the writing, and that's why Wonder Woman did so well, which is so DC needs to follow suit on that formula.
Well, yeah, honestly, why Jenkins didn't produce Justice League or direct Justice League is still beyond me,
because we were up Josh Whedon's butthole. Where
he came in at the end. He didn't do the beginning. He came in at the end.
I'm just saying, they were just at that point. They're like, okay, we're gonna go with Josh, and now look at that whole situation.
Okay, and not for nothing, Marvel said goodbye. Says have a nice day to Joss Whedon already.
Exactly.
What is with DC taking the people that Marvel has already used? I said, okay, you did some great stuff. Thank you for the Avengers. Age of Ultron was solid work. We're going to call it a day. We're going to go with the Russo brothers, who just had a great breakout film with one of our lead female characters. We're going to put them in charge of our next phase of Avengers. And Joss Whedon was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm old anyway.
Well, Joss Whedon is still a name. Don't get it twisted. But I, as a lot of people my age as well, think he's way past his prime. Like, Buffy at this point is 20 years plus behind him, is all that I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. The man has his money. The man doesn't have to do this.
But he still has, that man still has cachet. Just like Bendis' name still has cachet. Like, I will always be grateful to him for the stuff he did with Jessica Jones and Miles Morales. Yeah. But that's where it is for me with Bendis.
But cachet is the exact opposite of product. Cachet is the laurel upon which you rest, not the
well, case in point, the DC, they're gonna learn that lesson.
Not the Gaul you conquer. You can promote the guy who conquers Gaul, or you can promote the guy who has a laurel from conquering Gaul. There's a big difference depending if you want to conquer Gaul. The laurel is, you put the laurel on.
Yes.
All right, we're off course.
Doing deep references here.
You're just figuring this out now.
I know. Anything else we didn't hit from this movie?
Go ahead, Liv.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just gonna say, so are we gonna see Fire Fist in the next X-Force movie? Because canonically he is tied to Cable.
Is that our X-Force for the movie? Who saw the?
I mean, a chubby little kid from New Zealand. Like, I'd be down for that. That's very subversive of the whole. I love that they brought up that there were no like overweight superheroes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
I think the crew that they showed us marching out together is the
ample Kiwi.
You know, the fact that there should be ample New Zealanders, you know, there should be more fat superheroes because there's a lot of fat kids who read comic books who don't see themselves represented in comic books.
You tell them,
the Essex House. We got another Sinister reference. Are we gonna actually finally see Sinister?
Can I just say how mad it was that the little guy didn't turn out to be Mr. Sinister?
Exactly.
I was waiting for that. I was like, oh, he's gonna turn into Mr. Sinister. Wait, he's gonna like throw a cape around him.
Even just to throw.
There's a hole that has power over children.
Yeah, he was just I mean, I am so sick of waiting for Sinister. You know, it's like
even just a throwaway line, like, "Oh, that guy was so sinister."
Oh, that's for the director's cut.
And never done the. I get that
baby, that
maybe
was for the director's cut.
You're gonna say, what is Fox saving Sinister for? What really is Fox saving it for? Because they're getting sold to Marvel.
They're into the deal now. Maybe they're just like Marvel's like, or Disney's like, hey, no, save Sinister. We have plans.
And not for nothing, you know, when you consider the fact that the original idea for Mr. Sinister was that he was a child's imaginary friend, he's perfect for Deadpool as a villain. There's so much you could do with that character. In fact, you know, that little boy eating the hero flakes could have been that little boy that Mr. Sinister was talking to in those issues. That was supposed to be the Omega level mutant who created Mr. Sinister as his imaginary friend, his imaginary supervillain friend. That's why he has such a stupid name. That was the writer's words, not mine.
Sorry to cut you off. I got to bail. I've got a thing I have to deal with at work, but it was great talking to you guys. Have a good one. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Bye,
Bye.
Chris.
It's only been 5 hours, Chris. Come on.
Literally, it's actually only been 1, but yeah.
I know, Charlie. Exactly.
So the only people that have signed on for the X-Force movie are Josh Brolin, Zazie Beetz, and Ryan Reynolds. So the basically
It's still a work in progress.
the big 3, yeah.
Yeah, and those are actually the only ones that you could announce at this point without revealing spoilers. So if Terry Crews or Peter W's in it, that's going to be a bit of a spoiler for stuff. So
right.
Or unless we get like a more traditional X-Force canon.
I definitely think we are going to go towards a more traditional X-Force. Oh, and I just want to talk about my favorite cameo in the actual whole movie is the cast of
X-Men.
X-Men.
Phoenix.
Yes.
When they just closed the door on him.
Yes.
That was the best. It was because they were filming at the same time, very close by. It's the only reason that actually happened.
But what I loved about that is that the implication is not that the X-Men are never around. It's that the X-Men are avoiding Deadpool.
Yes.
Colossus is trying to help Deadpool, and everyone else is like,
well,
we're going to get my siren.
As a non-comic book fan, some of the stuff that I have read, the X-Men are avoiding Deadpool for a very good reason, because at some point, Beast becomes a coat for Deadpool.
a coach?
A coat.
Oh, a coat. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, in like the future kind of thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess there's one issue where because they were talking about basically what a psychopath he is in the comic books, and he like kills and skins Beast and wears him as a coat.
No, he you know, Beast could have died of natural causes, and he wears the coat as an homage to his dear friend who passed away.
Could have died of natural causes, hairball.
It could happen.
But I mean, I understand why you couldn't pack a ton of X-Men into this, but why couldn't we have at least gotten Pigeon Wings?
Do you know how much pigeon wings cost as CGI? Yeah, it's like of all, like you could get a Cyclops before you could get a Pigeon Wings.
Oh, could you imagine what kind of
we should actually have
Cyclops?
Another Summers.
Well, we should have had Cyclops in this because, I mean, long story short, thanks to the fun of time travel, Cyclops.
We did get a Madeline Pryor reference too in this movie. It's the ice cream truck. It's the ice cream truck when they're when the X-Force gets decimated. The ice cream truck is Pryor like ice cream.
Oh, was it? Oh,
really?
Madeline Pryor.
Yeah,
because Madeline Pryor and Cyclops are Cable's parents.
Though you know what I think one of my favorite things in this was this idea of Cable telling Deadpool about how his generation, you know, basically, you know, F the world into a coma. And it's just to me, it was just neat to have the old guy who's technically the younger person, yelling at the younger person who is technically the older generation. And I just thought it was a nice play on the whole,
damn millennials, damn boomers.
Well, both the idea of old people yelling at young people and young people saying, no, you older people really messed up the world and now we're suffering in it. I thought that was a nice play on that basic millennial dynamics. So.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Oh,
Okay,
I love that.
wait, have you seen Ryan Reynolds in the unicorn costume on the Korean show singing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow"?
No.
Okay, I will send it to the group. But for everyone listening, go to YouTube and look for Ryan Reynolds unicorn costume.
Marnell, what kind of porn are you watching?
Bronies.
It involves unicorn, so it's the right kind, Philip. Okay.
Bronies and Hulk.
Oh, hey. And hey, My Little Pony reference.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Pinkie Pie.
Hi, Yu-Gi-Oh! So Ryan Reynolds goes on to a Korean voice type show, and he's in a unicorn costume so that they don't recognize him, and he sings "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow." And of course at the end they reveal that it's Ryan Reynolds, and everyone goes crazy and starts asking him crazy questions and things like that. It's super, super funny. I'll post it to the group, and I'll try and post it too when this goes on to Facebook and everything. But it is so funny. I love Ryan Reynolds. He's so funny.
Dianne and Marnell, I know you'll love this. Did anybody see when Ryan Reynolds came out as Deadpool on Stephen Colbert?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
He came out. He was talking to Colbert. He even started doing the monologue. He's like, "I'll take care of this, Stephen." He even did like a Trump joke or two.
Yep, he did. Which, by the way, I loved the Jared Kushner joke in the movie.
Oh, that was awesome.
And I loved the George W. Bush mission accomplished.
Can I tell you that neither of those played well in Wasilla, Alaska?
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty
We're a red state.
Yeah.
We're a red state, unfortunately. Dianne and I are blue girls.
Rugged individualism.
Yeah.
So Wasilla is Palin Central. Yeah. So they really did not play well in Palin Central.
No.
Yeah, well, I guess you got to root for the hometown girl.
No, the Wasilla Hillbillies really don't like those jokes at all. I'm sorry. It's just not good. No, don't you know?
Well, it doesn't have the same effect without the full
bangs and the clap.
But you're going to a Deadpool film. It's from the liberal Hollywood sin factory. You should know better. That's all I say. You should know better.
That's my band name. Liberal Hollywood Sin Factory.
Oh, I thought it was I thought you should know better.
Liberal Hollywood Sin Factory.
Really?
Okay.
Really?
That's our first album.
You
should know better.
Deadpool and Colossus, still a better couple than Deadpool and Kitty Pryde. Colossus and Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
There, I said it. Fight me, nerds.
I love.
You don't have a comment about that film?
No.
I guess my head's still in my prison wallet. I don't know.
Oh, by the way, I speaking of prison wallets, there is a lot of great butt jokes throughout this.
When Juggernaut said he was gonna put the red guy up the short guy's prison wallet, basically, I died. That was so funny.
I can't believe Josh Brolin's only 5'11".
That's still 11 inches taller than me. I can still wear heels. We're good.
I gotta think he's taller, but he's not. But he's just the same height as Ryan Reynolds, because Ryan Reynolds is actually a tall gentleman as well. I think that was a reference to Josh Brolin always playing superhumanly tall people, and he's actually just a normal human size. But
he's still not the good old 5'7" like Tom Cruise is, so it's okay.
But the sticking one guy up another guy's butt, that where that's from, Lilith.
Prison.
Lilith, I thought you were a Hancock fan.
I love yes.
Yeah. When he said
yeah.
I'm gonna shove him up your butt, and
he actually
does it. Yeah.
That's in prison.
Well, you know what? I don't know who you are that you're gonna pick with a fight with Hancock in prison.
An idiot.
Exactly. It's like
although he was supposed to be on his best behavior, as it was a PR stunt.
Okay,
yes.
According to the IMDb profile, Josh Brolin is 5'10" and a half.
Wow.
Which is exactly what short people say. I'm not 5 foot.
I'm 5 feet and a quarter.
I'm 5 foot and a quarter. Yeah. So that's exactly what short people say. Josh Brolin is 5'10" and a half.
Okay, well, good to see. But it goes to show you the miracles of Hollywood, because
it's called the Apple Box.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess throughout the entire Beauty and the Beast series, he was on an Apple Box. Who knew?
Subtitle of this episode is going to be "Short Girls with Big Words."
Nothing wrong with short people.
That's right, Sugar Bear.
Charlie, you're supposed to wear the blue shirt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pulling off that PW cosplay.
I should have worn my green one, but because I have a green polo and I have a blue. I do have a blue striped polo, but I didn't think of it.
And you should have been putting on the sunscreen while we were doing this.
Melanoma. What's your fanny pack? I know you got a fanny pack.
Yes.
So just FYI, another person with short person complex in Hollywood is Sly Stallone, and he is 5'7". He's 5'9" and a half, according to his IMDb.
He's 5'7". I met him at Planet Hollywood 2003. He is 5'7". Okay. I had heels on and I was taller than him.
His IMDb profile says 5'9" and a half. So kudos to you, Josh Brolin, for being taller.
Well, mazel tov for Josh Brolin, like I said.
Oh, Lilith, I sat under his naked frozen body from that movie in Planet Hollywood. What's that movie where he
is it Demolition Man?
Demolition Man, thank you. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, I was in a Planet Hollywood and his naked frozen body was above me, so I concur, 5'7".
You get a picture.
Hello.
I don't know, Marnell in that picture of the smooth criminals. Anyway, are we done?
Definitely.
Did we review a movie?
I think we also was okay.
It's Wayne's World. It's random nonsense. It's what we do.
And it's Deadpool. I mean, we could go random.
Yeah, we actually did touch on a lot of points of the movie and things we liked about it and things we disliked. So,
Okay.
So what's our next movie, you guys?
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing that.
Yeah.
Is anyone seeing Lando next week?
I'm gonna try.
I don't know with only the original trilogy. You're out after that. I know.
If my movie watcher club card comes by then definitely, because like I said, I want to see how Lando scrapes his way from small time hustler to big man on campus at Cloud City.
Cloud City, yes.
I won't write it off.
What?
You will write it off?
I won't write it off. I would consider watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you for Ant-Man and Wasp.
Good Lord, that wine's kicking in.
No, that was my Chewbacca impression.
What are you looking for?
The DT is really what it is.
Look, I haven't even had a half a bottle yet.
That kind of girl.
I was gonna say she must have been talking, and that
No.
glass is still.
I'm serious. This holds an entire bottle.
Why not just use the bottle at that point?
Because she's classy, Phil.
With a K.
Classy.
That's too strippery.
It's too Kardashian.
Like I said, too strippery.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's what I was waiting for. Our joke.
Oh my God! Could we talk about Kanye? No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Scoopity poop.
You leave him alone. Let his legs equilibrate. Okay.
No, if we're talking about Kanye, we're gonna go back into the mental health discussion.
No, I think we're done.
All of a sudden, Phil doesn't want to talk about mental health.
He runs an asylum. Hello.
Who said I was sane?
He's the warden of Arkham. That's
Amen. Amen.
To be the warden at Arkham.
All right, so are we getting out of here?
My bladder says yes.
All right, well, so okay then. Marnell, since you're about to pee your pants, where can people find you?
You can find us at facebook.com. Yeah, fight us. You can fight us. You can find us at facebook.com/fighters or on Twitter at fighters and Southgate Media Group fighters. We are the Real Housewives of Alaska. I'm Marnell. That's
Don't
Dianne.
forget the good news according to the gospel according to Preacher. The good news.
Oh,
Is that coming back?
Yeah.
Is that coming back?
It's coming back a couple of months.
Yeah.
But it is coming back.
Yeah, because Preacher starts in June, doesn't it?
Yeah. I would like to put a plug in for This Conversation Rocks, which is a non-Southgate media podcast. We are doing our Bill of Rights episodes. We're coming up on educating people about the Bill of Rights. So check us out if you want to listen to some lefty politics.
Nice.
Who doesn't?
All right. Charlie Esser, where can people find you?
Well, you can always write to me in an old-fashioned email way the way our moms and paws once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivity, all one word, @gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and other things when they come back sometime in the future. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's for the middle for quality. And and click the subscribe button. Hit the little bell for Toxin Gamer 13, my son's YouTube channel.
Aw,
Man, Charlie, are you for hire? We need to start having you do our promos.
Let me know when.
He's a show pony.
All you have to do is buy him a 6-pack. You're good.
He can be my show brony.
All right, Miss Hellfire.
If you nerds are still live tweeting anything that's left over in the DC Arrowverse, you can live tweet with me the finales and the rest of Supergirl at Lil Hellfire. And I also want to encourage you guys to find me on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram at Save Me Podcast. If you like swearing and Smallville, then I might have a podcast for you coming very soon.
You're welcome, Lola.
And always remember, never underestimate a man with a mustache.
Hey now. All right, everyone. If you want to comment on anything here, good Lord, why? Wade's World Pod at gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Wade's World Pod, at CL Sidekicks on Twitter. Same on Instagram. And the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Just because Tristan Esser couldn't do it, you can. And if anyone wants to do interviews like our Lord and Savior Ryan Reynolds, get a hold of me. Nightwing PDP.
Call us.
Nightwing PDP at gmail.com. And on Twitter, I am at Nightwing PDP. Wow, Lilith, that was so much random nonsense. Because this is Wade's World.
Chimichanga time. Chimichanga time.
Only if you can have sriracha on it.
You know what? When my ulcer heals, that is what I plan on eating.
If they go in a smoothie, Lilith will have it.
You know what?
Just a little bit of Prilosec in it. Top it off with some Prilosec. It's all good.
Some Pepto-Bismol. I like my smoothies colorful.
You need to do like a show as like the evil Martha Stewart.
Sriracha and Pepto.
And red wine.
Grape juice.
It's
Like my
It's great.
apple juice that I drink.